From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for joining us. Money TV is a program all about money and what makes it happen. Well, the U.S. economy is buzzing right along as it created more than 300,000 jobs in December and did it again in January. The Dow Jones Industrial Average just had its best month in more than 30 years. Now, the lifeblood of the U.S. economy is small business. The lifeblood of small business is cash flow. Cash flow is the net change in your company's cash on hand. If you take in more cash than you send out, you have a positive cash flow. You have a negative cash flow if you put out more than you take in. Pretty simple stuff. Now, it used to be the small business owners who needed cash injected into their business had nowhere else to go but traditional banks, which could often take weeks to make a decision. Today, small businesses have many other options as speed lenders have sprung up with much less restrictive lending policies and decisions that are made in minutes rather than days or weeks. They have cute, easy to remember names. Speed, convenience, and cuteness have a price, however. The loan payments will be taken automatically from your account every month, every week, even every day. Now, the APR for these fast loans can make a credit card blush. Some rates as high as 50% or more, front-loaded, so even if you pay the loan off early, you're still paying a lot for the money. But the need is obviously there as these fast lenders are raking in billions of dollars in revenues. If you're a small business owner needing cash fast, this option falls somewhere between a bank loan and a hard money loan. But if you bounce a payment, at least no one's going to threaten to break your legs. Now, here's something you never have to worry about being threatened for whatever reason. It's our toll-free number. Good from anywhere in the world you're watching the program, 888-259-4449 to get free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. Once again, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net, and please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Well, our first guest is joining us in studio, Mr. Todd Denkin. Todd is the CEO of Digipath Incorporated. DIGP is their stock symbol. Todd, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Don. Thanks for having me back.
Now, we had you on the program last week. Fascinating interview. For those who might have missed it, why don't you tell us again what Digipath does?
Absolutely. Well, we really support the testing industry and all things that are associated with testing, good lab practices. We analyze data, collect data, and we also deliver some news, right? Unbiased news to the industry. Right. So everything cannabis-based from a regulatory standpoint is how we're focused, but mainly in the testing space, data acquisition, and media.
Well, a lot of people don't realize, and we mentioned this briefly last week, but cannabis is required by law to be tested the same way in many cases that OTC drugs are.
That's correct. So in most of the states where cannabis is legal around the country, you have to have some form of testing. Our place is in Nevada, which is very highly regulated, so we test for potency and we test for all the bad stuff too, like pesticides, heavy metals, and microbial, to make sure that everything is safe and clean for the consumer. Because like you said, everything is regulated, right? From milk to water to everything you see in the grocery store, right? Why shouldn't cannabis also be tested and held to that same standard?
Well, we've seen so many states that have legalized cannabis, and of course now hemp is federally legal, so it's just ballooning in that direction.
It certainly is, and now hemp is following right in line with cannabis testing as well. Currently though, you only really have to test for potency for hemp just to really prove that it's not cannabis, right? That it's not marijuana and it has low levels of THC below 0.3%, right? But over time and next year, Nevada is going into full hemp testing, exactly how cannabis is tested, because there's over 100 growers now of hemp in Nevada. Just growing hemp. So it is, thanks to the Farm Bill, like you say, this has opened huge opportunities, not only for hemp growers, but for Digipath Labs as well.
Now, the company's involved in South America, specifically Colombia. I know that's fascinating. Why don't you fill us in on that?
Sure. Well, you know how about 10 years ago when pot stocks first entered into the marketplace and cannabis stocks started appearing on NASDAQ? Well, that had a huge impact on the stock market, had a huge impact on the economy. Well, we see Colombia affecting the cannabis market the same way cannabis affected the stock market.
Okay.
Colombia is going to be a huge player and already is beginning, large-scale production. They passed cannabis laws back in 2015. It is government, certainly government regulated, but government subsidized. They are literally turning their middle class into cannabis production facilities, right? So what's happening is, because they are on the equator, right? They have 12 hours of sunlight, 12 hours of darkness every single day happens to be exactly what a cannabis plant needs, right? So it's the perfect growing environment, and when you can have the perfect growing environment, well, guess what? You're going to get into the export phase, and that's what Colombia is doing, along with Canada and Israel. But Colombia's on the equator, right? Every single day of the year, it's between 72 and 82, right? And it rains just the right amount. So in order to produce cannabis, you need those things.
Right.
In Nevada, in Canada, and other places, people grow indoors, right? Because you have to.
Exactly.
And now you have the expense of power and labor, the two most expensive things when cultivating cannabis, right? Well, in Colombia, they don't have the need for HVAC, and they don't have the need for really expensive and hot lights, right? And they have the indigenous folks and the local middle class working at all of these facilities. So it is a win-win-win situation, and we couldn't not be a part of it, really, because the power of export of cannabis products, I mean, Colombia is predicted to supply 44% of the world's cannabis products.
44%?
44%.
Wow.
They plan on exporting up to 81,000 pounds, right? Over 40 tons of marijuana products, mainly in oil, right, to other countries, because lots of European countries like England, Germany, they have legal medical marijuana, but nobody can grow marijuana there, so they have to import all of their stuff. So we believe that being a part of a big distribution network of exporting and then importing on the other side, both sides are going to have to be tested, and that's a huge opportunity for Digipath and certainly for our shareholders.
Do you feel you're well positioned to take advantage of this opportunity?
You know, absolutely. We have created a replicable system, right? Thanks to the work of our Chief Science Officer, Dr. Cindy Orser, and our very talented scientific staff. We literally have, you know, I like to call it our McDonald's manual, right? Because we know exactly where to put the fry machine and the shake machine and the cash register and where to line people up, right? We have that. We're ISO 17025 2017 certified. We're an award-winning lab that has done lots of great work in the industry. And now we're taking this lab in a box and we're going to take it down to Colombia. We're working directly with the Colombian government to help them set standards and to really create the regulations on what should and shouldn't be tested. So are we poised? We are absolutely poised to not only really create a big footprint in Colombia, but we could be the first ones from a cannabis testing standpoint in order to open in all of South America, and we're looking right in Bogota right now.
Almost out of time, but I did want to mention your growth sciences division you talked about last week, which you can give me in 30 seconds.
Absolutely. So all we've been doing all of this time as we're doing all this testing is collecting data, right? We believe that data over time will be the long-term play for Digipath, right? So in order to exploit this data, and we analyze it, we figure it out, what's going on, and Dr. Cindy Orser has created formulations. And now we're going to license out these formulations to other product makers who want to enter the space with their new and improved products. Now you can get in simply by calling Grow Sciences and saying, hey, I'm looking to do this. Let's see what kind of formulations you have for this, this, and that.
Fascinating company. DIGP is their stock symbol. Digipath. Todd, always a pleasure.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to see you as well.
And joining us now from Phoenix, Arizona is Mr. Greg Lambrick. Of course, Greg is the CEO of Singlepoint Incorporated. SING is their stock symbol. Greg, welcome back to the program.
Hey, thanks for having us again, Don.
Well, we had a conversation before we went on the air. You've got a really big announcement. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we do. We have signed a letter of intent for up to $12 million in funding on an S1 registration. So, you know, the company has spent a lot of time and energy and has been very patient with, you know, getting our 2-year audit and getting our Form 10 done. And now we've did 3 quarters of you know, filing, and we're very excited. This is one of the reasons why we did this, is to be able to do an S1 and register shares and get funding up to $12 million. And you know, this is going to allow us to do more acquisitions. This is going to allow us to do all of the different things we want to do in the CBD world. So it's great news.
Well, that kind of gives you a war chest, so to speak, to seek out acquisitions, better acquisitions, acquisitions with more revenues for the company.
Well, yeah, and we've spent 2 or 3 years getting to this point where we can do an S1, and the good news is to the company and to the shareholders, this is as inexpensive or cheap as money as you can possibly get. So, and that's what we've been working towards, is get to the point where the money that we're raising to do acquisitions and to to get more sales and to get more revenue is at such a discount that it really puts the company in a great position to succeed.
Well, Greg, this is what you've been talking about for the better part of the last year. You've become fully reporting, giving you the opportunity to attract money at better terms.
Yeah, and I'd like to, tell our shareholders and also the investment community out there that Singlepoint continues to move forward. We're not going backwards. We have a clean slate on the OTC markets. We did our Form 10. We're filing on time. We're doing an S1. We're raising money. If you look at our track record, we say we're going to do something and we do it. We may not do it as fast as we would like, but we eventually accomplish that. So, this is another goal of doing an S1 and raising a significant amount of money at a great discount. And the next thing is getting enough revenues to talk about moving up to NASDAQ.
Any idea once you file the S1 when it'll become effective?
I've heard a lot of different things. Some people are getting them through in 2 weeks, but what that means is probably 30 to 60 days. But we've hired the attorney to start on it right away and put a down payment on that. And we've already, we've got the LOI done, and so we're ready to go. I would like to see it done in 30 days.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to give you a war chest of further acquisitions. Are you looking at deals in the CBD space? Because I know you're very bullish on that sector.
Yeah, we are. We have 2 or 3 acquisitions in the CBD space that we're currently negotiating. And then we're going to be releasing an LOI on a pretty large acquisition that's been in the works probably next week. So you'll be seeing a lot of different acquisition news from Singlepoint, and the good news now is that we'll have the money to complete them.
Well, Greg, the CBD industry is moving at a meteoric pace. Is it a challenge sometimes to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, the thing is that, we think that we did something pretty smart. We purposely decided not to participate in the cannabis industry as far as a grower or a dispensary because, federally it was legal, and it really causes a lot of problems with banking and getting shares cleared and a lot of other issues being a public company. Now that CBD is legal federally, we're jumping into it full bore, but the thing is Singlepoint has already had a site up selling CBD for 2 years, and I encourage everybody to go to our site. We have over 40 products. It's called singleseed.com. So we were lucky in the fact that we've already been in this business, so our learning curve is not as steep as maybe other companies getting into it now.
Once again, Singlepoint Incorporated, SING. Greg, congratulations on that funding. Thanks so much for joining us.
Well, you know what? That's what we've been working for. One thing after another, Form 10, S1, raising big amounts of money at a great discount, acquiring companies. We're doing everything, and things are great. We're really excited about and bullish about Singlepoint in the future. So go Sing.
And with us now is Riggs Eckelberry. Of course, he's the CEO of Origin Clear OC LNG, the stock symbol. Riggs, lots going on this week. You sent me an article about a big sewage mess in Miami-Dade.
Well, there's terrible things happening in Florida because, in fact, I have a headline here: Florida's water woes. What do we do next?
Tailor-made for Origin Clear.
Well, it's interesting because the classic solution that the municipalities have, of course, is to, well, first of all, let's set the stage. There's 30,000 septic systems in Dade County alone. And Brevard County is just as bad in its own way. But in Dade County, they've had problems with, every time there's a flood, lovely stuff rises on these multi-million-dollar homes. How fun. And so they got to do something. Well, 30,000 septics being connected to sewage is going to be $3 to $5 billion, right? Well, that's 30,000. That's a ridiculous price. You know, that's $100,000, at least $100,000 a connection.
At least.
Well, we can do it for 10, 20,000, right? So this is tailor-made. So in fact, there's a program here. Department of Environmental Protection would establish a matching grant program for septic tank conversion. Local governments would have to put up matching money for the program, which could lead to property owners hooking up to sewer systems instead of using septic tanks. Well, the other way is, why not spend 1/10 of the money and just have a little box that processes, and by the way, you get the benefit of processing your incoming water, recycling water for your lawn, and properly disposing of it at a fraction of the price of connecting to sewage.
It's a win-win-win-win.
Exactly. Now, we know how government works. We're not taking it down that road. We don't, we had this experience a couple years ago. Cleveland, Ohio had a huge green algae bloom. Like, we can help. And they're like, no, we'll just wait for it to go away.
Oh my gosh.
Now in Florida, it's not going to go away.
No.
But nonetheless, the decision process is going to take years. We'll start what we're starting now, which housing developments, industrial size projects, not worry yet about the home level because that's going to be this whole thing. But meanwhile, 200 or 300 homes at a time, hotels, commercial developments, etc. We're in there now.
Show by example.
Exactly.
So how soon can this process begin?
Oh, well, the good news is Modular Water already bids these projects currently in Florida. We're in there. We have a pipeline. We have business. So it's happening already. By being able to point to these occurring, we can then move in parallel with these much lengthier, working with the state things. Takes time. But meanwhile, the revenue, and speaking of which, I've got some wonderful revenue news that I think is looking really good. January was a great month for us. I don't want to speak out of turn because I need to validate those numbers, but it's looking really, really good. And you saw this week's announcement about sales rep networks.
Right, I did see that.
Yeah, manufacturers reps are really key for water companies, and we're growing very, very fast.
Well, in any organization, the sales reps and manufacturers reps are really the lifeblood of the company. Not a lot of people know that. You have your manufacturing, you have your research and development. Somebody's got to take all this data, all these manufacturing icons, and go out and sell them.
And they're waiting for it. There's, as I say, 50 manufacturers reps for water in the country, and they're looking for lines of business. And modular water systems is very sexy. So.
So now, going back to the Miami-Dade problem, you have these scalable modular water systems that you can do for a hotel, you can do it for housing development. Can you do it for individual homes? Absolutely,
and we already have the prototypes for it, but that's a different business, different channel. You use the installer network, it's a different world. Where we're starting is with the really high users in places like Southern California, who are spending $10,000, $20,000 a month on water. They're out there. Help them, because they're like small commercial users, really. And even a $50,000 system, which is the current price point for us, will pay for itself easily on a lease basis, right? And they get to be virtuous. We'll get to the small, but getting down to the small is in itself an engineering challenge. So we want to stay where we are now and project out the small.
For those of you watching us in Miami-Dade, of course, get this tape over to your local government right away. Once again, Origin Clear Incorporated, OC LNG stock symbol, Riggs, always a pleasure.
Thank you, Don.
Have you heard the news? There's only one flat-fee news distribution network on the market. It's called AccessWire, and it's exclusively from Issuer Direct. Any day, anytime, the AccessWire News Network can deliver your press release to more than 1,500 media outlets in 98 countries. AccessWire also delivers real-time engagement analytics. You will learn who read and shared your press release and more. Best news of all, getting started is easy. Visit accesswire.com and extend your company's news reach today.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington. On Shark Tank, we always look for the next big thing. Today, it's digital currencies like Bitcoin. But everyone wants to know, is it real and how do I get started? Yes, it's real, and the best way to start is setting up your free digital wallet with Singlepoint.com. They make it easy to buy, use, and store digital currencies without banks or debit and credit cards. Use promo code SING for your free wallet and informative newsletter. That's singlepoint.com.
Does this sound familiar? Turned down for a mortgage? Credit card interest over 20%? Didn't get the job you wanted? The problem is your credit score. Unsure what your credit score is? Call the Advocacy Network, 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl. He can help you regain your financial independence. Change your life today. 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl.
We are back. Thanks for staying with us. Joined in the studio now by Warren Wang. Warren is the CEO of ChineseInvestors.com Incorporated. CIIX is their stock symbol. Warren, always a pleasure to see you.
Hi, Donald. How are you, everyone?
I'm doing good. What's the latest with the company?
Sure. We just got the engagement letter from our auditor for the CBD biotech. So we are in the process to spin out the CBD biotech. Secondly, we still own the Chinese CBDoil.com, ChineseHempOil.com, which we're selling the CBD oil to non-mainland China consumers.
Okay.
That division still will be part of Chinese investors. Okay. So a lot of people have a question about if we spin out CBD, Chinese investor stock will be tank. I don't think so. The first reason is we still selling the CBD oil to Chinese Canadian, Chinese American, Chinese Asian, non-mainland China people. So we try to consolidate different websites into one website, and we try to rebrand everything. We expand our product line. I'm the CEO of Chinese Investor, so we have a financial division and Chinese non-mainland CBD. Right. So CBD Biotech CEO is Summer Yuan, and the CFO is Alex Hamilton.
Right.
So we have a news about replacement of our CFO on the 8K. We didn't put a press release because Paul working for us so long. He still will be on the board. Unfortunately, he working for the Breakwater. Chinese investor invest $250,000 into his venture. Also, he's on the board, director of Medicine Man of Technology, stock symbol MDCL. He was so busy, so we are looking for a permanent CFO right now. You know, we did the 8K, but I think we don't need to put press release on that. I think we more like this is a transition for us find a new CFO, can really focus on Chinese investors. So Chinese investor after Chinese CBDoil.com for non-mainland Chinese consumer, but also we have a financial division. That division we were looking for expanding. Okay. And my goal is next 3 to 5 years, profitability is the key. So if somebody thinks it's worthless, that's fine. I always telling my investor that stock can go to 10 cents, 5 cents. But if it can show the profitability on the Chinese investor, it can worth $1, $2, depends on the market.
Of course.
So we also try to apply the investment banking license with FINRA. We are almost done with the Cyprus Forex Exchange license. So we offer stock, Forex, and bunch of other service subscription in advertising. So I'm pretty confident we will see the profitability and revenue growth in next 3 to 5 years. And the other goal is uplisting from using put the CIX uplisting to New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. Yes.
Nice.
Because we are looking for acquisition. We are looking for probably 6 to 10 million revenue on the Chinese investor in next 3 to 5 years. And I think we definitely qualify for New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ on the small cap side. So, I talk a lot. So I don't want people say you talk a lot, overpromise, under-deliver. So we will see. I think my goal is still be on your show for next 3 to 5 years. So time will tell, okay? But, stock price up and down. Somebody highly try to manipulate it, put a lot of different scare parts to, on some publication. I don't know why, but just regular investor need to be aware. You have too many passive side.
Right.
What happened to the positive side? So of course, the company learn the lesson, pay the tuition. Have all the different learning course during the transition or growth period. So, but I would like to say time will tell. So we will see.
Well, you know, one thing I've always enjoyed about you being on the program and interviewing you and listening to you tell your story is that you have this unbridled enthusiasm for your company and what you're doing. I mean, you must be one of these guys that can't wait to go to work in the morning.
Oh, sure. Every day I was every day I was in the morning early, I was late. Every day think about business. Business, 90% is business. So, and I love to expand our business. After I'm moving from China to US since 2015 July, we see our employee growing from 29 employee all the way to 96. I did an accounting confirmation. 96 full-time employee, 7 offices in LA, New York, and Vancouver.
Wow.
So I think six total have a real physical office. So love to check.
Once again, ChineseInvestors.com Incorporated, CIIX is their stock symbol. Warren, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, on this week's Money Wrap radio program, we're going to talk about how do you make Bernie Sanders explode. It's actually pretty easy. To find a radio station near you, to listen online, go to the website MoneyWrap.com. Call us right now, toll free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. To get free information about our featured guests, when you do call, be sure and has to be added to the subscription list for our Money TV newsletter. Once again, toll free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net, and please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our show this week. We'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington. On Shark Tank, we always look for the next big thing. Today, it's digital currencies like Bitcoin. But everyone wants to know, is it real and how do I get started? Yes, it's real, and the best way to start is setting up your free digital wallet with Singlepoint.com. They make it easy to buy, use, and store digital currencies without banks or debit and credit cards. Use promo code SING for your free wallet and informative newsletter. That's Singlepoint.com.
Does this sound familiar? Turned down for a mortgage? Credit card interest over 20%? Didn't get the job you wanted? The problem is your credit score. Unsure what your credit score is? Call the Advocacy Network, 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl. He can help you regain your financial independence. Change your life today. 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl.